Hey, my name's James Nicholson and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about landlords quitting. Now, we've talked about that a number of times recently, but right now, the landlords left in the market, 30% already quit, but the landlords that are left in the market, 50% of them are looking to quit the market in the next few years. Now, it's down to energy performance certificates. It's down to the huge costs that would be incurred by landlords that would mean that landlords that are already potentially losing money due to new tax rules potentially could lose even more money if they don't sell up. I'm also going to give you information on what tenants think about this, because maybe tenants are really agreeing with the government or maybe not. Well, we've got some stats on that which I think will surprise you, and much more. So before we jump into this video, as always, if you haven't done it already, do subscribe to the channel over there and hit that bell notification. We're on the way to 32,000 subscribers. In fact, we'll probably hit that over the next few days. So let's get to 33,000. And while you're here, smash like, tickle like, do something to that like button, whether it's out of love or anger. Obliterate that like button, because that really helps with the YouTube algorithm and helps get more views on the channel. So thanks to everyone that does that. Go on, do that now. So what's going on? Well, the Labour government is proposing that they will bring back the EPC rules. And so maybe you've been around this channel for a while, or maybe you just know what's going on in the market. The Conservatives were saying the same. So the Conservatives had a policy that landlords had to get to a level C, I think it was initially by 2025, and that got rolled over a number of times and eventually just got shelved. The last government shelved it. Now, Labour are in power. They've got a very strong majority and they can get quite a lot of things through if they choose to. They're suggesting that they're going to bring back the EPC rules and they're going to make landlords get to a level C. So EPC stands for Energy Performance Certificate. You've got to get to a level C by 2030. Now, what's interesting is not all properties can get to a level C. Some it's literally going to be impossible. Let's just say you had a listed building, or even not a listed building, just a very old building. My office, for example, where I am right now, it's a lovely place. I picked it because the location is smack bang in the centre of Dorking town. But we have sash windows. We're not listed, but it would cost a fortune to change all the sash windows and improve the energy certificate. And so the landlord isn't doing that. And lots of landlords will have similar properties where they have sash windows or open fireplaces that let air in and all sorts of things, or single brick walls that are obviously quite cold to the outside. So that would maybe not be possible to get to a level C. You might have to totally rebuild the property if you have a very, very old property. So what they're suggesting is if you can't get it to a level C, you've got to do your utmost best. And so you have to spend a minimum of £10,000 per property in order to get it as close to a level C as you can. If you hit that £10,000 target and it's still a level D, for example, they will give you a tick in a box and say, fine. So that's worrying a lot of landlords right now. And so a lot of landlords, whether you like them or you don't like them, they're struggling in the market because interest rates have gone up significantly. Also, they're getting taxed on their gross income under Section 24. A lot of people are worried about the market because of the Renters' Rights Bill. If you had a tenant and the Renters' Rights Bill had passed and the tenant just refuses to pay you rent, you could be waiting 6, 7, 8, 9 months in order to get a court date, and then you still might not get them out of the property. You could easily incur a year of costs before you actually get your property back. And if you're a single unit landlord, that is something that keeps you up at night. So a lot of landlords are looking to sell right now. Rightmove did this survey and they are saying that 2.9 million properties, this is just rental properties, are under a level C. 2.9 million are under a level C. So that's a huge undertaking in order to get those properties there. Look, we're pretty much in 2025 and no landlords are going to start this work because this isn't active as a law or a rule or whatever it is going to be right now. And you wouldn't do the work right now because let's just say you spent £10,000 now and they say this starts in 2026. Maybe that £10,000 doesn't count. And then you've got to spend another £10,000. So we've got to wait to get all the details on this. But this is worrying a lot of people. So the cost to bring all these 2.9 million properties up to a level C, the estimated cost is 23.4 billion that landlords would have to find. The government aren't paying that. You're not paying that as a renter. But ultimately, these costs would get passed on to the tenants because the landlord would be forced, while rents are even rising at crazy rates right now, they would rise even faster. And I don't think that that's something that tenants particularly want. Now, they're saying on average, this would cost £8,074 per property, which is not an insignificant amount. So some people can get it up to level C for a few £100. Some of you have commented on the channel that you've done the work yourself, and that's important that you can do that. Now, what is happening off the back of this? Well, renters, only 19% of them are bothered by this rule. Only 19% of tenants are worried because I guess a lot of tenants see that potentially it's a short-term fix. They're renting and they don't maybe see themselves living there for the rest of their lives. So they're not too fussed. At some point, they can move on to a new property. So 90% of renters have some sort of issue with this, meaning the majority don't. But what's already happening in the market, even though this is not a law, even though this hasn't been fully announced, Ed Miliband's been talking about it, what actually has happened already? Well, in 2010, 8% of properties sold, rentals, were being sold. So 8% of the properties in 2010 being sold were from landlords, previously rent out. Let's have a look at what's happening right now. Right now, in 2024, it is 18%, more than double. 18%, and this is just speculation. It's very likely. I mean, it's not speculation. Labour's already doing talks and saying this is what's going to happen, right? This is what's going to happen if they have their way. And look, they're in power with a huge majority, so it's very likely that this is going to happen. Now, 18% of landlords are already, all the properties for sale are landlords exiting. Remember as well, the market is slower at the moment. So we're saying all the properties being sold, 18% of them are from landlords, but it is a slower market. So imagine what it's going to be like when it's a normal market, or imagine when this starts getting the headlines in the newspapers, on the news, in the radio shows. More landlords are going to quit. What's the outcome of that? It means less rental stock. So if you're a tenant watching this thinking, great, I don't like landlords, maybe they should suffer, maybe they should pay all of this sort of cost. Here's the scenario that will happen. And we know this because we've seen these sorts of things. Anti-landlord bashing in Scotland has meant that some places you'll get one flat for rent, 100 people will apply. Imagine being that tenant, desperate to get a property. I've got a client in Scotland, which I've mentioned before, who had to wait 6 months just to get a normal rental property because there was such a lack of rental stock. And they were looking at properties and there were 20 people looking at the property at the same time. 20. That's not a great scenario. That really, really will be very stressful for a lot of people. So what I feel will probably happen is this will get passed. This will become a rule, a law, whatever it is going to be. And then I feel that as we get closer to this 2030 deadline, the goalposts will be moved again, like they already have. The Tories had this same policy, and it kept getting kicked down the road and kicked down the road and kicked down the road. I think what will happen with this, it will be announced that you've got to get it ready by 2030. As we get to 2028, the government will be given data to say 60% of these properties are still not ready. They're not got the money to do it. This is a big problem. So at that stage, I think they will add more time on, because the last thing they want to do is for even more landlords to quit. We've got a growing population. We're not building enough. They've said we're going to build 1.5 million houses. Let's see, does that happen? Who knows? Probably not until the interest rates drop, because builders need to fund projects at more affordable rates. Let me know your thoughts on this. Are you a landlord? And are you looking to quit, or are you going to stay in the market? Here's what I'm going to do. I will be staying in the market, regardless of what happens. I will be staying in the market. I see it as an opportunity. I think the rent will rise. I can release equity as and when I need throughout my portfolio and pay for works to be done. I don't like this, but I do think I will stay in the market. So let me know your thoughts and opinions and observations in the comments below. Do smash like, do subscribe, do check out all the other content on my channel, including this video right here.